Hello, welcome. My name is Promise Odera Honor, and today I'm going to speak on the topic federal and state roads. We try to look at Nigeria and provide solutions to the many issues in Nigeria, compare best practices globally, and choose what should be, um, what should be done in terms of the Nigerian context compared to other places. And today we're going to look at federal and state roads. And this is somebody's request. And I want to discuss it because it's true. We're having challenges in this. And one of the biggest challenges is that sometimes governments are the ones against these developments, building or developing or constructing or repairing these federal roads. Sometimes even some state roads or local government roads, government will say no when individuals want to develop them or rehabilitate them or even construct them because he's probably wealthy or rich and wants to sort of tar the road to his house or to his compound or to his country or to his town. So what should be the best practices when it comes to federal and state roads? We've always seen loggerheads with the Federal Ministry for Works, always, loggerheads with state government when they want to build federal roads. In the case of Wike, he told Tinubu about, how much he spent building a federal road, and Tinubu's response was not what he was expecting. And that shows that, even Governor Makindorf for your state have a similar issue with Fashola in the past immediate administration. Fashola said, in fact, that Lagos-Ibadan road has not been completed, and I think that's owing to that conflict there. Although they are saying the state have some pipes to lay across and they want them to finish that before the federal will finish the works. But what should be the best practices when we have issues like this? You see, Nigerians are mobile people, meaning they travel around a lot. And Nigerian government needs revenue. But the problem is, infrastructures that are supposed to be in place to generate those revenues, the government are not doing what they should in terms of putting things in place so that the people will in turn use those things and then pay for those services and then generate revenues for the government. And one of them being water transportation. I've discussed this before. Railway transportation, which is now starting to come live in a few places in Lagos, and also some part of Nigeria have been connected, apart from the southeast area. Now, some state governments are beginning to go into these projects, and we wish them well. Ebonyi State have said they're going to do it. Soludo said they're going to do it in Anambra, and I think Enugu State government might decide to do it as well. Now, the import is also that there's been a few airports being built. Nigerian Air as as an official national carrier is beginning to create buzz. Emefiele have been arrested by Tinubu. We know it's not really good intentions because, of course, Emefiele helped to fight votes buying by the whole Naira redesign, which caused a lot of hardship anyway. But then it was to affect those notes that people use to induce voters buying during the election. Now the election has come and gone. They're still in courts. A lot is happening in courts. Pay attention to the legal proceedings. But Emefiele being picked up by DSS. We want to see the outcome of that. We know that CBN governors don't usually do 2 term. Emefiele has done 2 term. I'm not saying he's a credible guy, but then given that different presidents from different parties have allowed him to continue to serve 2nd term, he might be doing the right thing. Don't quote me. But then what I'm trying to say here is that we know he's been victim of that revenge. Call it revenge, by Tinubu for what his policy could have done to affect him coming out victorious for places like Lagos, where ordinarily he would have used money to induce people. Speaking about APC. Now, going back to it. If we don't have a working water transportation system, and we also don't have a very robust railway system, and our air, we don't even have a national carrier. We have a lot of local domestic airlines, but they're very few in terms of compared to other countries that are, very let's say frequent aircraft connecting different states, which is also source of revenues and stuff because those companies will have to pay tax. In Nigeria, for example, if I use Southeast, you have a Bonny State having an airport that just got commissioned this year. You've got Enugu Airport, which was locked down or closed for a very long time for refurbishment. Now is active. Only one international airline, Ethiopian Airways, coming in there, and then probably Air Peace and maybe a few other airlines. Then you have Owerri, and you have Asaba, and that's serving all the Southeast. So you can see also there's a lot to be desired in terms of connecting over 70 million people in that part of the country to the rest of the country. International planes are usually foreign airlines, all right? And there's a lot of issues with giving those airlines back their money, their forex, their dollars, Nigeria is owing. So we have all these many issues. Then the only other alternative to all this transportation is road transportation. So we don't have enough water transportation. We don't have good mechanized boats or ferries and stuff like that on our waterways that connects people, especially to the riverine areas. There are some areas you cannot get by land, and they are also part of Nigeria. They use local boats, okay? So government presence is not felt in those areas. So no good water transportation, no good railway transportation. The one that was built by Amechi, we know what happened with the whole kidnap and Boko Haram affecting it, and people was kidnapped and all of that, right? Now it's as we started, we don't know how much it's generating, but like anything in Nigeria, you can expect as much. Now, the air, we don't have national carrier. The domestic airlines are just increasing price as they like. I think people are flying for 100K to travel from Lagos to, in fact, in some part of the north, you can't even get by road, you can only fly, right? And in some places, you have to fly to a particular place and then travel by road to the rest because they cannot allow flights in there because of the high presence of insurgency. So the only way people now have to go to these places or travel around in Nigeria is by road because the other four systems are not working efficiently, right? Now, the same road is still not good. So these are the problem. So somebody said to me, the only thing that can move the economy of a country is all these federal roads. And to put it in a simple man's language, anything that connects two states is federal. Anything internally in that state is state. So if you are traveling from Enugu State to Anambra State, you use the Enugu-Onitsha Federal Road, right? That's been in construction, under construction for as long as I can remember. As a child, going back to the village, we always have bumps on that road. So it's been there for as long as I've been alive. And I'm over a 30-year-old man. So you can understand the issues with Nigeria. Ever-changing, some past pertinent issues that are never being resolved. Do you understand? We have roads that are never done to standard, that have never been tied properly for decades. Right? And these are supposed to be major economic factors. Because when you have standard dual carriage roads that are up to, what standard that connect states, people can easily commute and in some cases return back to their originating place of travel and do business. It's not like we have railway as an alternative. It's not like we have waterway or water transportation. It's not like we have air. It is ridiculous. In 2023, we can't boast of good roads, we can't boast of power, we can't boast of anything. Now, I'm just coming back from church, and I must say this. There are two types of people in this world. People that worship money, that will only associate with those that have money, that want to belong to a class of influential people because of money, and people who just want to live a simple life, who don't see money as things you can get by all costs, who don't value money but a good name, who want to be good and beneficial to their society, to their people, and not focusing on money. So ask yourself, where do you belong? You look at Nigerian politicians, so you see clearly they are all about money. They are all about business. They don't send, they don't care. They're not bothered. The price of fuel is so and so amount. It's not even that they have good roads to drive when they buy this high expensive fuel. And the thing is, when you have good roads, if your cars are speeding on good roads, you spend less hour to travel. Before, Onitsha to Enugu used to be 45 minutes when the roads are good. But to travel on Enugu now, you're going to be thinking about 3 hours. We're rainy season now, so you have to increase that. In some cases, about a few years ago when I came back, you have to get to a particular point, enter Nteje, drive through Nteje, and come out again to join the main road because the roads are not good. Till now, people have to get to Oka, branch off and use the old road, which was built by state. And you drive to in some places, you are pothole, in some places there is good road, and you drive like that until you get into Enugu. So these are the issues. Now, what is the solution? The solution is what Wike did. What Wike did. What Dave Umahi did. Wike is from PDP, Dave Umahi is from APC. But these people treated their own people well. Self-love. Nobody can love you more than you love yourself. If you're a governor, show love to your state. Tar all the roads in your state as much as possible. In fact, build your federal roads, construct your federal roads, repair them. I'm telling you that. If federal government come and they say, oh, why are you doing this? Say to them, if I give you the bill, if you want to reimburse me, fine. If you don't want to reimburse me, hold on to your money. We must do this for the common man. We must do this for somebody that wants to transport. Imagine, I'm just discussing my friend in Australia. Nigeria is outsourcing palm oil. Palm oil, manuni. Nigeria is buying it from Malaysia. And there's shortage. In fact, he's done a white paper on this. So he's telling me, oh, I didn't know. I said, no, I didn't know. Because I know my village, Nara, we have one of the best oil. Palm fruit, he told me there is a decline globally about 7 million metric tons. Now, I said, oh, this is because of deforestation. If you want to build a house, you want to clear land, you'll be breaking down all the palm fruits, all the palm front. And these trees take at least 10 years to mature. And we don't encourage afforestation. We don't encourage planting of these new trees. So we are busy cutting down, bringing up houses and everything. And now we don't have these palm fruits. And everybody depends on oil. He told me that they buy a liter of red oil in Australia for $34. If I go to my kitchen now and bring a small palm oil like this, it's about £5. I told him I want to go into the business. He said to me, if you want to go into the business, to buy the processing plant from China is about $60K as at 2018. My brother, where I see $60K? Now with inflation, it's about $100K. And these are things you go to the village, you see oil, you buy it very cheap. You see all these women, they will bring alcohol. When they bring the palm fruit, they put it in this thing, they will mash it with their leg. For those of you that go in the village, bring it out. There's a lot that there's a lot that goes into the processing. He said to me, instead of doing the planting side of the business, do the processing. When you get the palm fruits from the farmers, then you can go into processing, process those palm fruits. But how are you going to get the machine? These are the problem. Now he started telling me the Nigerian factors. When you get the machine, you need power. It's heavily power dependent. It's heavily power dependent. And we all know what is going on in Nigeria, what is obtainable in Nigeria. There is no power in Nigeria. So you have to go and buy this or invest in what they call it, listers and stuff. So we're in a very dire situation. Even if you have a mind, have a good idea, you are still stuck to one place. Sorry, you guys give me 1 minute. Let me get the dog. Babe. I'm almost done. I just opened the door for you. All right. So you have all these fantastic ideas, you want to help, invest and whatever. But then the big challenge is power. You start looking for lister and all of this adds to the cost, to the capital. And there's nobody to finance it. No government, no micro business, even SME level to help and support you. So these are the challenges. How can a country that have such a tropical weather unable to produce tropical fruits? In fact, the oil we buy from here, I think most of them come from Ghana, not even Nigeria. The palm oil we use here. So we are busy losing all this money, not because we don't have the land, not because we don't have the fertile soil, not because we don't have the manpower, not because we don't have the weather or the sun that we need, but purely because we don't have factors that could help businesses grow. So how do we deal with these issues? How do we deal with these challenges? One of the biggest problems is federal roads not being roadworthy or car-worthy or vehicle-worthy. Because one of the major things that spoil cars in Nigeria is the roads. Even if you buy a Lamborghini, once you drive it in Nigerian roads, you will have issues. I was thinking about it today. I've been driving my car for how many years? I never for one day worry about opening bonnet. In Nigeria, I bought a Lexus, drove it. I didn't understand that in Nigeria, first of all, before you drive, you open bonnet, check your oil, you do all these things. The car knock engine. I have to abandon the car and get a new one. Because we are so used to UK, you drive, you don't worry about nothing. Maybe once a year you take it, they will do MOT, do service and all of that. Nigerian road will destroy your cars. Cars that are meant to be driving on even surface. Nigeria bumps everywhere. Dust everywhere. Dust gets into the engine, gets into the air filter. Every time you have to be visiting mechanic. And there is no... That's another topic I'll talk about. How people get certifications on what they do. Here, you can't just come out and say you're a mechanic and be spoiling people's cars. Before my very eyes, I called someone to repair a car that is overheating. He cut the AC, cut all the cables. I have to call another person that knows what he's doing to repair what the other person damaged. And I paid him, the one that damaged everything. So we have all these issues because the government, there's lapses everywhere in the system. And the people you keep voting into power that have all the resources that should be able to fix these things refuse to do what they're supposed to do. So what should state government do? Some states have done well internally. Go to Enugu. Inside Enugu is fine to an extent. Go to Owerri. Owerri is not much of a good example, but at least you can still say it is okay-ish. Go to Abakaliki now, sweet roads. Go to places like Asaba. The roads are inside and outside. Even the federal roads are all done. So we need to do that same approach. State government focus on the federal roads and build them. They are your economic factor, your economic power factor, because once people can travel on your federal road easily, they could easily say, for example, if the Enugu road is standard, yeah, because they've done it in sections. You travel from some places to Oka. Inside Oka is okay, right? But then from end of that Oka, no road. So you have to branch off and go to the old road. But then if you can do that road and meet up to where Enugu government can come and join, and all of you do that road, even if you have to share the cost between the two states, it's going to be beneficial to both states. Because if you are waiting for the federal government, this thing they are doing is what they will be doing. RCC will close one section, maybe tie like 100 kilometers, and then leave it to next dry season. Come to one other place, tie another, and what they tie is just one side. So cars will come, everybody will switch to this lane and drive this lane, and then come back on this lane. The road is no good again. How long can we continue like this? And then when you see these people on TV, the ministers for these things, they will tell you and boast that they've built Kaduna, Abuja Road, they built Kanu, Abuja Road, excuse me, they built Lagos Ibadan Road. There is no time you go to that Lagos Road in front of that mountain of fire and everything, they will not see traffic. For how many years? So let's face it, we need to do better. If we must get things right in Nigeria, we need to do better. And a lot of these things, no matter what topic I pick up, no matter any problem you're trying to address in Nigeria, everything still falls on the government. Or at least a good percentage falls on the government. Because the government is lacking in so many ways. And one of the biggest challenge we have in Nigeria is corruption. And that corruption transcends not just people in government, but also to the people. And the reason it touches to the people as well is because it's been going on for so long, it's become a norm. That's your job for Blue Minana. So now everybody has to be corrupt, which it shouldn't be. Even somebody you give a small project to go and do for you, he will just do it the same way our government have been treating us. Everybody treats each other with such disdain. Nobody cares. A road was built in one place. I don't want to mention the name of the government that did it. Few days after, some people came there, used the hand, pick up the quota, and was breaking it into crumbs like this. And was even insulting the governor, saying, he was just breaking the quota. Is that the quality of work we're supposed to be doing on our people? And that's why when they tar road, you'll be jubilating. First rainfall, everything is out. We don't build standard roads. The only road you appreciate is go and see what Peter Obi did in Anambra State. That's 6 lanes that he built since then. From that army gate down to the bridgehead, that road has been solid like that because of the different layers, world standard of road that he built. And that's supposed to be a federal road. Do you understand? So that is what we're supposed to do. Plus, there's supposed to be a maintenance culture because even here in the UK, roads also have potholes, but they get fixed. Yes, when you're looking at the road, it has different colors or different shades, but nobody cares as far as the road is smooth. So Nigeria, we must do federal roads. If the federal government, for example, don't want to include the Southeast in whatever development they are doing and neglect us even in our federal road, neglect us in the railway, neglect us in having seaports, let us start doing these things ourselves for our own economic growth. It's not just coming out and talking. You are a governor, you have money, you have allocation. These are things of necessity. These are things of high importance. Buhari signed a bill. Tinubu came and signed it again. The electricity bill. Good. Find ways to build dams. There are contractors who used to do these things. Go and bring projects that have been abandoned in the government office. Sign those things into law. Or allow those companies, pay them. Let people generate electricity. And help. See, the one thing we need for Nigeria to turn around is only power. I just give you a good example. A friend said in 2018 he was willing to go into this thing to produce palm oil. I never knew Nigeria import palm oil, but he knew this. He was just telling me, I just had the shot before I came live. Lo and behold, he got stuck and he had to leave it. Because you have to source the land, then you source the palm fruits, then of course and I didn't know there are byproducts of this isiako, the head of the palm front. You know what I'm talking about. Yorubas use it to do banga soup, or South use it to do banga soup. Then we use it to do ofako. I never knew you can use it to do oil, even feed for chicken, and do different sort of oil, and even apart from the red oil. So if you have such an economic value, and we know these things are very, very cheap, you can go to the villages and buy these things. Why don't we have plants? The major problem is power. Because by the time you buy diesel, sword diesel for 20, because these things you have to build it in village now. You can't build it in the city. You have to build it where you can source it easily. How many villages have power in the Southeast? How many villages can boast of power in Enugu State, for example? That is the problem. So first of all, you go to Lister, but when you buy Lister to source your manufacturing, when you buy diesel with this, how expensive it is now. If petrol is selling, how much is selling? Check how much diesel is selling. And you run diesel for 24 hours. How much are you going to sell the oil? How much are you going to sell the oil if you factor in your cost? Only the processing machine alone is cost about $100,000. About $100,000? You know how much that is in Naira? So that is the problem. And people are looking for foreign investors. How can you look for foreign investors when as a government, you don't even have logistic access. You don't even have road. No good road. Federal roads. These are the most, because somebody has to get into your city primarily before, when you are driving, and you are getting into a village, then you can start understanding, okay, this is a village. I might not need it to be tired, right? So you can drive even at a lower pace, driving like 20 or 30 miles per hour. But when you are on a federal road, you can't be doing 20 miles or 30 miles per hour. You expect the roads to be tired. So it is extremely important that if over 30 years, for example, the one I knew, I was born in Onitsha and I grew up in Onitsha, that have Enugu Onitsha Express Road have not been finished. Worried that APC was boasting they will be on Enugu, they've left power. They have done nothing. Enugu Onitsha Express Road have not been finished. And go and check it. Thank God we're now in rainy season. Go and drive that road now and see what I'm trying to say. You cannot drive that federal road from Bridgehead to Enugu. What do you call it? We're close to that Gulf Estate. Is it Holy Ghost? You cannot drive and get there straight. You have to branch off and drive, unless you want to kill your shock absorber. So bad roads are not beneficial to us, federal or state. But most importantly, those federal roads that connect states together. If we must grow as an economic, economic development, we must fix our federal roads. We can't shy away from it. The guy that told me about this topic, he told me something quite touching. He told me that about 30 trucks have fallen on Onitsha Owerri Road, another federal road. Now, this comes to when you are doing something as a government. Spend that money once and for all and deliver something really strong. I remember I enjoyed plying that road smooth from Onitsha to Owerri a few years back, because I go to Nigeria every year. I remember I enjoyed that road smooth. And then one year, we heard that the road demarcated into two, erosion. Right? And that shows how good the soil is. Of course, you know Anambra State have a lot of erosion problem. When you know the soil is like that, you have to make sure, because it's the same Anambra State that Peter Obi built, the one he built from Amigate down to, what do you call it? A bridgehead. So, it's the same Anambra State from Onitsha Owerri Road. That Onitsha Owerri Road is a federal road. You have to do it to be very, very durable. Now, he's saying that about 30 trucks have been falling on that road. And one of them was carrying foreign doors. And you know what it means? You know what a foreign door costs? At least 300k, depending on which door. So what am I saying? When people are talking about development, we're talking about revenue, talking about tax. All these things, it's like I keep saying, it's like a cog in the wheel. It's like, ripple effect. It's like a domino effect. Everything is linked one way or the other. We need to have good roads. Federal roads most especially. Any road that is connecting one state with another. Imo State and Anambra, that Onitsha Owerri Road. Anambra and Enugu, that Enugu Onitsha Road. Enugu and the rivers, which is Enugu Port Harcourt Road. Right? Aba Owerri Road. All these roads that is connecting cities. And also the whole Nigeria. Kanu, Abuja, Kaduna, Lagos, Ibadan, Lagos, Ogun. All these states, every federal road must be done. Otherwise, it hampers greatly on economic development. And it also allows robbery. If the road is good, you will be zooming at 120. Before anybody stop you, unless it's a checkpoint, you run that person down. Even if he shoots you, there are chances that you will miss because you're on high speed, velocity. But when the road is not good, it damages cars. That's why most times in the road, there is no way you will drive on road, you don't see one car that is damaged, or engine knock, or engine problem. And the mechanics are quack. And that's when people come and rob you when they see you in problem. Because Nigeria is not a place that you will have problem and you have sympathy. Immediately your car damages on the road or breaks down on the road, that's when you see people, wait here, boy. You need mechanic. The next thing they go call boys will rob you. If you're a woman, people don't even arrow you. So when we are going through all these things, and our government is doing, I don't see it. And somebody come on TV and say something one day on channels. He said, most of these our government, they don't use roads. They fly. And because they fly, they don't see what we are saying. Which governor can travel to the next state by road? They won't. So they don't use these federal roads.
They will tell you it's not their business, it's not a federal road. But that is the economic one. That is the one that will move economy. If we are sensible, that's the one we're supposed to focus on. Because they are flying, they don't have access to these roads, so they don't care. For example, Enugu State Governor will go to Enugu Airport, fly wherever he wants to go, come back, enter his convoy, drive, and boom, he's on the Enugu State internal roads. He will drive. He won't see, he won't notice what is going on between Onitsha and Enugu, or between Onitsha and Owerri if he's Anambra State Governor. Even when they see it, they kind of cast the drive. If you stay, have you seen the cap product that most Nigerian governors use, or the state government cars? They are Toyota Prada Jeeps, Land Cruiser Jeeps that the shock absorber. Even if you are going boo, they won't feel nothing. The kind of comfort they are in that cars, and the kind of AC that is blowing them. They're not suffering what you are suffering. But the woman that is going to sell her vegetable is on one down for using one hand to remove her hand from the vehicle and holding the vegetable so the breeze won't carry it away. And the cars are usually made of iron or probably plank. The whole dust on their face with their wares. How is that sweet? How is that a good journey? So because our leaders are well cushioned, they don't feel the pain of an ordinary man. Enugu Onitsha Road, Owerri Road Onitsha Road, Aba Owerri Road, all these major roads supposed to be done. If you are waiting for federal government, you are waiting a long time. If government, you touch their mind and you tell them, okay, this is the contractor, this is how much we spent, please, anything, and they offset some of the bills, even if they don't pay you 100% of it, then you take it. But as a priority, we need to fix these federal roads. It's been on like that for years. And look at somebody now that is important, or probably his truck, he's waiting for his truck to deliver his wares, and all the foreign doors have damaged, or about 30 trucks that fell on that Onitsha Road. What would you do? Who will help you? Which bank will you tell you have this kind of problem and will say, oh, let me assist you with money? People are being plunged into poverty every day. And these are not lazy people. These are not people who went into poverty by their making. These are not people who went into poverty by choice, by laziness. These are hard-working people. People who are trying and thriving, saving for months, years even, borrowing from here and there. Peter Bojere said at that time on his life that he invested on 13 million naira business. And because of power, electricity, buying diesel and everything. And somebody is coming, John was coming to blame him that he didn't know how to do business, that he should have checked his... Should government allow more fire if it's bad for our engines to be... It's like in this country, you don't drive in this country, UK, and your exhaust will be black suit. You know those... You know that thing that when you see lorries in Nigeria, when they are driving, you will see black suit. You can't do it in the UK. If police catch you, you pay a big fine. Here they are talking about green energy. You can't even drive in London now. If your car is producing a certain amount of CO2, they call it useless. My car passed useless because I never drive diesel. Because some people go and buy diesel because it's more cost effective. It's more cost effective, but you can't drive it in London. No, you can't drive it in London. London is useless. Even Oxford. You can't drive it in Oxford. Some towns now, major cities that are zero emission. Nigeria, somebody will be driving one big lorry, the whole place black. He will be pouring the black suit on people driving behind. And most people driving behind don't even use AC, even if their car have AC, because they believe AC consumes more fuel. So everybody will be breathing it into people's lungs. You are destroying people. Look, federal road safety don't even know what is black suit or even controlling all these things. Nigeria has not gotten to that level that they will start worrying about environmental distance. So we have to start moving. We've been we've been stationary, stagnant for years, decades. And that's why we look so foolish, so stupid that we are buying palm oil from Malaysia. I can't believe it. I only got to know this thing from the news. And somebody is telling me he wants to go into this business as at 2018. But look at the shortcomings. From 2018 to now, things have even gotten worse. Since they privatized NEPA, and this is my problem, people that say that governments cannot do business, is it private that can do business in Nigeria? If you say governments cannot do business, NEPA was a failure, is this EDC or private holding that is better? Do people have steady light since they have been privatized? Let's tell ourselves the truth. We're just a bunch of corrupt people who have refused to move forward with our hatred for one another. So I don't see any reason why a government cannot fix its state. I can't see why you can't fix road with all the money you're embezzling. Every month they share money to you. You collect taxes. So what is the problem? You live good life for you and family. I saw MC Oluomo in America with his son. Standard education. I even heard the guy did so well. Most of our governors, when their children are graduating, we see them so proud. Foolish people in another man's country. What happened to your own country? For how long? So your children will come and do the same thing? Come and run the country down and go and take picture foreign where? How shameful it is that our leaders all have their children elsewhere. And you have a country that you're supposed to make a competitor in the world. Look at India. India now is challenging the globe. Do you know what it means that India is in brisk? India that was colonized the same way we are colonized. You see, we are a bunch of stupid people. Honestly speaking. We are a bunch of no goods. And because we've allowed Nigerian presidency is supposed to be minimum of 2 degrees requirement. Minimum. With the number of educated PhD holders we have in Nigeria. You can't rule Nigeria with a BSc required. Sorry, what do they call it? School SAT. That is the minimum requirement of being Nigerian's presidency. Or being Nigerian president. School SAT. Nigeria should be minimum of 2 degrees. Either you have 2 distinct degrees or you have at least 1 BSc, 1 MSc. Nonsense country that doesn't know that one of the you're talking about revenue, you're talking about economics, every day they're talking about raising money, they can't pay debt, and you don't have good road. What does it take to pour asphalt on the road and make the road good and motorable? You're causing damages to cars, you don't have good mechanics, you don't have good policies, roads are not car-worthy, cars are not road-worthy, everything is nonsensical. And you want to grow. And you want to put fuel price on world price. You want to match the fuel petrol PMS retail price to the. Have you made your roads to be the world standard? Have you made your roads to be world standard, or made your power supply to be world standard, that you want to make your petrol to be world standard? Bunch of foolish peoples. May God help us, but to any governor, especially the southeastern governors, these things are coming from people in the southeast. People's businesses are, a lot of people, most people that beg me money or that come for help are people who are doing business, not because they are lazy, but because of one problem or the other, most especially coming from government. How do you come and destroy people's businesses that you want to build road, and you're not giving them an option? You've not built another place, you've not built a permanent site. People are helpless. On top of that, those that are falling inside the house, somebody lost about 20-something million. A friend to fraudsters. A Yankee. People in Nigeria, I don't know how they survive, honestly. I have to give thumbs up to people who are making it in Nigeria. Nigeria is such a difficult place to survive. You worry about every single factor. You worry about power, you worry about water, you worry about road, you worry about mechanic, you worry about everything, school. On top of that, you worry about somebody duping you. You worry about getting your money from the bank. You pay money to get your money. You worry about every single thing. In fact, network. Yesterday I was trying to make call. Hello. You will be hearing woo. I know in this day and age, Nigeria don't have good stable network to make calls. All network, I have to call again. Burning money. The amount of money I spend calling Nigeria, I don't spend it on my monthly contract on my phones. For how long can we continue in this? For how long? How difficult is it to run a state? How difficult is it to run a country? How difficult? Is it not just corruption? Is it not because we are wicked people that hate ourselves? What is in need? What is in need that government cannot provide ordinary power? If they give you money, do the right thing. Why must everything be based on selfish interest? Let me put it in my pocket. Let me keep it for my family. And you become so useless as well after doing all those things. You remain in bondage. They give you key to open your own chain and unlock others. You unlock your own self from the hand, and then you lock yourself on the leg because you want to steal money and let others not steal because they are still in chain. Instead of you to open everybody's hand and legs so everybody will move on and use that money for all of your good, you want to steal the money alone, but you chain yourself to the leg. That means you are not moving. You are not moving, yet you are in bondage and you have the key in your hand. Even if foreign people, or let's say even if our colonial masters are part of our problem, the little that you are getting, can you use it for your people? Can you build road? I've given examples of Onitsha Road. I know they built it before. I've said it. They built it before. But since we know there is erosion in all those roads, why can we not build it very well? Do many layers. You know how they do roads in abroad? They've even moved away from how they just pour normally, just tar road. Now they do what they call smart roads. In Sweden now, their roads, or be Japan, charge their cars. People are moving on. Nigeria is still talking nonsense. Nigeria don't even know how to. What is this? Now they're telling us governments cannot. Another idiot came, sorry for using that word, today is Sunday, God forgive me. One man came on, said he was the one that liquidated Nigerian Air during Obasanjo, Nigerian Airways during Obasanjo's tenure. You know what this guy said? He said that they should go and try that anybody that want to try to revive Nigerian Air, it will not work. Jesus Christ. He opened his mouth and said it will not work because of lounges. Who cares about lounges? Just give the people plane to enter. You are telling me that what if they land and they want to connect, they need lounges. Who cares about lounges? Lounges is for business class and first class. Does Ethiopia Air have lounges everywhere? Does Egypt Air have lounges everywhere? Why do we focus on stupid things? Forgive my language, but these people are annoying. How can you come on air and say, because we cannot fly globally, we should only sell to Virgin Air or British Airways? Okay, you are undermining air peace. You're undermining your local airlines because they are flying local. And you want a situation whereby they can only use established. But let me ask you a question. In the UK, you have British Airways backed by the government. You also have Virgin Airline. And to be honest, their prices is not far off. They are competitors. Virgin Airline might not have lounge. In some places, they might. In most places, it's only British that have lounge. But does that stop Virgin from doing business? Let us think and stop being hate. We hate ourselves so much. Because Airpeace is an Igbo man. Why should we give him the contract? They even came and twisted it that it was not Airpeace, was the first bidder. Oh, let him not be the first bidder. Even if he's not the first bidder, can you get us Nigerian Air? We are going to make a lot of money. December now will come. I just got back with food the country. All those I just got back, it's not money they're spending. People are coming from Malaysia, China, UK, America, flying back to come and enjoy their time in Nigeria for holidays. And they're using other countries because of what? Why can't we revive our country? If you say a lot of carriers have other companies investing in them, yes. Well, we don't care. People don't really care about who invested in what. If we want Virgin Atlantic to invest in us, fine. If we want Frankfurt, Lufthansa to invest in us, fine. If we want British Airways to invest in us, fine. The most important thing is that we should have Nigerian Air, an official Nigerian Airways. We don't want to know the nitty-gritty of the business arrangement. Even if it is 40% or 30%, what we need is a national carrier. It's pride. It's pride. Every country has one, no matter how it is run. Even if the government does not own British Airways, that it is a separate entity. Of course, we know it's a separate entity. During COVID, the government assisted them. They had to lay down a lot of staff. We know it's but the government work with them. Government is all about policies. It does not mean that government should come and sit down and start booking a line for them. No, it's all about policies. You deal with the top end, high end level infrastructure and everything, and policies, and let the other people that are in the business manage it. Give LPs the backing, allow them the policies to travel and protect Nigeria as the be the flag carrier. Do you understand? The national carrier. He knows what he's doing. As he came into the business, you are looking for 15 years experience. You want it to go to Lufthansa or to British Airways because you've done business with them, or you want them to give you commission. All these things are why we are where we are. Hatred for one another. What is stopping an Igbo man getting the same thing you did for Dangote? Can't you do it for Airpeace? Water we don't have. Railway we don't have. Air, they are stopping it, inhibiting it. The same thing that Rotimi Amechi said that is will not have railway. Till now, that is does not have railway. Because you hate an Igbo man. You borrow money, build every other place. And because you hate an Igbo man, no railway in Igbo man. The people that transport businesses, that import hires from China, that import every other thing, all the containers coming in, a lot of them are going to the Southeast. You want to stop them. Who is going to patronize that infrastructure that you just built? If it's a sensible government, before you transport it, of course, Kano is a good hub. You can build railway to Kano, but also you can build a good railway to the east where they do business. I can't say more than this. Like I said, all I can do is talk. I'm not in a position of power. I'm not in a decision-making position. But listen, if the government approach me, say for example, I'm from Enugu State. If the governor of Enugu State want me to work with him, I will. I will go there and I will make sure I make my input. I've offered myself. Because sometimes I wonder, is it that these people don't know what they're supposed to be doing? Or is it because they know but they don't have the willpower? Or they want to do it and government is telling them no? Because I've heard governors say that a lot of times the president don't sign off what they want to do. Because a lot of these things you can't do it alone. There's complications in the Nigerian system of government. A lot of power is in the central. So many things you want to do. Like I said, there's some individuals that want to tie the roads to their house. And government will say no. Local government will say no. Or state government will say no. Because they want to use that project to make money from state government. They use that. Peacefully have said it. A lot of people have said it. That they have to pay government to be able to build road. Or to be able to, there are individuals, there are groups, there are forums that want to help people. Maybe schools, maybe hospitals, maybe health centers. And government will say, no, if you must do this, you have to give me my share. And these people are supposed to be in government. Because of the money they want to make from doing those projects. They use those projects, of course, to be milking the state and the public and the local government, or the federal even. So we prefer to be in abject poverty. We prefer to be retrogressive because of selfish interests. And that is why I keep asking this simple question. What is Nigeria's national interest? I will stop here. But I believe, share this video. Especially if you have anybody in politics, in power. Forward it to them. You don't need to say anything. Just forward the video to them. Brother, watch this thing. Sister, watch this thing. If you know your House of Rep, if you know your senator, if you have anybody in politics, send them my videos. Let them hear what they're supposed to be doing. We are inhibiting progress by ourselves. And everything falls on the government. That's where the buck stops. Thank you so much. Please comment, like, share, follow me. I'm trying to grow my page on YouTube, on Facebook. I've been verified on Facebook, thankfully. My Instagram, there is a lot of things I did during the campaign, during the election, during NSAS. I think I posted some videos that Instagram flagged as, against community guidelines, when people are killed on the streets and everything, you shouldn't post all these things. So because of that, they've not verified me or allowed me to be verified on Instagram. But we keep waiting and see what they do. If not, I'll just be doing what I'm doing. But please help share my video, follow me, and we keep talking about this. If you have any topic you want me to discuss, please let me know. And I like what is happening. A lot of people are doing podcasts. My leader, Diary of a Canadian Mom, Priye, she's coming on board. Her page has been verified as well. Nonso Diobi seems to be having a plan as well. A very intelligent, smart young guy. In the Nollywood industry. This election made me to see the other side, the intelligent side of some of our celebrities. Okon, Clean the Drunk, so DOB. These guys, we have the privilege to have them in our group, and they're doing excellently well. Let's have this podcast. Let's talk. Because the thing is, a lot of Nigerians are doing live talking. A lot of them are not impacting. A lot of them don't have value. So that's why I opened my own. I'm like, you know what? Let me just start sharing. A few others are trying. There's so many people that are talking, are doing well. Thank you, my brother CC Ado. So please, let's be having these conversations. When you come on live, on people's life, try and add value. Let's talk, because you don't know who is watching. A lot of people are watching. People are very, especially those abroad, there's no social life, so people spend a lot of time listening to other people. So we need to start making sense, speaking truth to power. Shout out to someone like Lufai. Shout out to Channels TV. All these guys, our media guys, we're all doing it. We're all going to do it together. I mean, Nigeria belongs to us. This is our time. Leaders of tomorrow, leaders of tomorrow. This is our time. And like I said, we should always be ready when we are called upon to answer. And thank you so much. Happy Sunday, and I wish you the best. Bye-bye.